I've got a bucket of glaze here that's well stirred, and I'm going to try and show you how I pour the glaze onto parts of the tiles I've made. So here's part of the upper part of the tile. So it's like a tree with birds sitting in it. I want this glaze on the background area, which is the equivalent to the sky. So I'm going to use a jug and just hopefully keep the glaze where I want it. The little wall that I've built with the coils is going to keep the glaze to one side of the design. So I'm going to pour it like this. Just get it where I want it. That sort of worked all right. Back off. These bits in the middle, I'll have to brush those bits in. I can pour it just into these areas here, just touching the jug against the clay. If it goes where I don't want it, I'll scrape that away. I won't sponge it, I'll scrape it away when it's a bit drier. Okay, that's done that one. Good idea to keep the glaze moving a bit in case the colouring in it settles down the bottom. To keep it well mixed. It's a bit tricky there. I like the colour this glaze gives over the turquoise slip. That's why the slip's there. Gives a sort of duck egg colour. Okay. And then I've got a bit of a lot of sky in this one. It's going to be interesting, so I need quite a lot. Let's see if it works. That's a little bit. Right, so I think I'm going to do it, hold it this way round, and then it can pour down. Doesn't matter if it goes on the back of the tile at this point. It's more important to get an even coat on the actual tile front. There we are. That's pretty good. Touch a bit there. Okay. Okay, where glaze has gone just over the wall, I'm just going to scrape that back with a wooden tool. So I'm not going to scrape the clay, just knock the glaze off back into the bucket. Do the same with this one as well. There's a little bit there that I've got to just scrape off. Doesn't matter if there's a bit of overlap, it makes it more interesting. Before I brush any more glaze on, I'm just going to clean up the sides and the back of these tiles where the glaze has just gone around the edge. Use a nice flat sponge. You can run it along just like that, and that will just take the glaze off along the bottom of the side, which is all I need to do. Make it nice and neat. Check there's nothing on the back. I'm just going to brush some glaze into these little patches of sky where I couldn't pour it. I'm using a Chinese brush which holds quite a lot of glaze. And I'll just daub some in there. I want it to be quite thick. Now let's fill those two up. I also did the same on these bits, on that tile. Right, I've skipped on a bit here. I've brushed in a colour, different colour glaze for the fruits in the trees. I've brushed a glaze also on the trunks, the branches of the trees. I've brushed a wax a water-based wax resist around the edge of the sky here, and over all of the fruits and over the branches, and I'm going to pour a glaze, a green glaze, which will become the green for the leaves. Hopefully the wax will resist it off all the other colours, and then that's going to complete it. So let's see how it goes. This is stirred up well. This is a dark green shiny glaze. Right. So I should try and pour this so that it runs away from the sky. So let's see how it works. I want to get a fairly good thick coat of this on, because that gives the effect I want. So we're going to pour that. It's resisting off the fruits. Let's just get a little bit more on there. Okay. If you could try applying the glaze out of something like a squirty bottle, but I find that quite difficult to control. I prefer to pour it, brush it. Now this one, I've got to avoid the bird, because on previous sets of tiles I tried putting the wax resist emulsion over the glaze that's on the bird, and it just came up and brought the glaze with it. So I've got to pour around the edge here and avoid the bird. Glaze. I'll be glad when these are done. Now let's do the other side. Let's hold it there. If there are places where it's gone on top of the wax, I can try and take that with a little piece of sponge, or I can wait for it to dry and then knock it off with a wooden tool, which might be safer, because the sponge might just smear it around. That looks okay. So I've missed the bird, which is good. I think I've got enough on there. Good.